Delivering mock tests is a critical skill you'll need to learn as a driving instructor, and this video will show you how to do it. When watching it, please study these 5 key points. How I set the lesson up, how I time giving route directions, how I watch the student after giving directions or approaching hazards, how I only mark a fault when safe to do so, and how I give feedback at the end of the test. A big shout out to George for allowing me to film and share his mock test. A month after recording this video, he passed with only 2 driving faults. I've timestamped the video so you can skip through if you want, but I'd encourage you to watch the whole thing, as that will really help your development. As always, if you find this helpful, please like, subscribe and comment.
Alright, so let's mark this down. If you want to talk to yourself all the way through, that's absolutely fine by me.
Okay.
Alright. So it's
also another question. Am I like to re-ask the question what the instructor has said? Like, say if they said turn right, am I like to say, oh, did you say turn right or something?
Yeah.
Like that? Am I just like to re-ask the question? It's like what they've said.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that alright?
Yeah. As you'll find out in a moment, because I'm going to give you a little bit of an intro to the test in the same way as the examiner will give you an intro to the test on the day.
Okay.
Alright. Okay, George, so this is going to be a test of your practical driving ability. Yeah. It's going to last for approximately 38 to 40 minutes. I'm going to take you on a route that's suitable for the test purposes. At all times, unless road signs or markings tell you otherwise, I'd just like you to follow the road ahead. Okay? If I want you to turn left or right at any time, I'm going to give you plenty of notice, but if you forget where I've asked you to go, just ask me, and as long as I've got enough time, I'll remind you. Okay. If you do go the wrong way, don't worry about that, as long as you do what is safe and correct for the route that you're following.
Okay, cool.
Okay. We're going to do one reversing manoeuvre, and I may ask you to do an emergency stop.
Okay.
Okay, but I'll let you know if that's going to be the case before I ask you to do it. To begin with, I'm going to ask you to follow route directions. So this is the independent driving section of the test. I'm going to be asking you to follow a particular route, and then I'll give you an update of the route that I want you to follow as we go. Okay. All right. It's going to last for approximately 20 minutes. After the end of the independent driving section, then I'll let you know, and then I'll give you further directions from there. Okay, we are going to be pulling over on the road numerous times, over on to the side of the road numerous times as well, and that's all part of the test.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Any questions before we set off?
No.
Okay, so to begin with, if you have a look over your shoulder, you'll see a roundabout sign that says Ring Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we get out onto the main road, we're going to exit the car park in the same way as we came in. I'd like you then to follow all signs for Ring Road until I tell you otherwise. Okay.
Is that any roundabout, I guess? Any roundabout says Ring?
At that roundabout, and then any other route directions you see for Ring Road, okay, then follow those directions.
Then you will tell me otherwise, yeah.
And if it then changes to something else, I'll let you know where it's changing to. So I'll keep you updated with the route directions as we go.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Yep.
Over to you when you're ready then. I'd now like you to follow the route directions for Thirsk and Harrogate, please. I'd now like you to follow the route directions for Earswick and Strinson. Be able to see the sign at the moment, but we're now following the route for Haxby. There is a road sign over on the right that tells you where to go. Right, yeah, it's the next left. So I told you that because suddenly the bus was blocking your view of that road sign,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't have been able to see where it was.
I didn't see anything.
Okay.
I was really scared for a second.
Yeah. So we're still on the independent driving section, okay?
Yeah. I didn't see it, sorry.
No, as I say, I could see the bus was going to block your view of the junction, so that's why I told you.
Will the driver tell me that in an actual test as well? Is that
An examiner, if you can't see a road sign,
Yeah.
because it's blocked by another vehicle or a tree or a bush or something, then yeah, they'll give you directions of where to go. I'd like you to take the next road on the left, please. In a moment, the road just bends sharply to the right. Okay, just turning right, but it's not a right. It's not a junction. Okay, just follow the road round to the right. Okay, could you pull over on the left, please? Stop just after this little parking area, just on the left here. So just stop there, thank you. Okay. This is where I'm going to ask you to do the reversing manoeuvre. Okay, so when you're ready, I'd like you to pull away, stop alongside that red car that's immediately in front of us, and then reverse your car into a park position, stopping close and parallel to the curb, using no more than approximately 2 car lengths worth of space to reverse your car into. Okay. If on this occasion, George, it means that part of the car is going to be blocking this driveway that's immediately in front of us, don't worry about it. That's fine. Okay. Pretend the driveway doesn't exist.
Okay.
All right. Over to you when you're ready.
Cars. I'll wait for this man to pass as well.
Have you finished? Okay. Move off when you're ready then. And that's the end of the independent driving section.
Okay.
So I'll direct you from here. Cool. Okay. At the end of the road, turn left. road somewhere, George, wherever it's safe and convenient. Could you pull over on the left, please? Anywhere along this road, wherever it's safe and convenient. Okay, thank you. And then move off again when you're ready. Again, anywhere along this road, wherever it's safe and convenient, please pull over on the left.
It's a bike lane.
Anywhere along here, wherever it's safe and convenient. Thank you, and move off again when you're ready. Continue to follow the road ahead and around. Thank you. Okay, so the next roundabout, take the second exit, signposted for New Year's Week. first exit again at this roundabout, please. And again along this road, wherever it's safe and convenient, can you pull over on the left, please?
God, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Move off again when you're ready. You can't see at the moment, George. We are taking the next road on the right.
Okay.
Take the next road on the right, please.
Right.
Take the next road on the right, and then I'm going to ask you to pull over on the left somewhere. Okay. So if we just come to a stop just the other side of this driveway here, that'd be great. Lovely, thanks. Okay, just secure the car for a moment. Okay, so in a moment, not along this road, but into the next road. We're going to go to the end of the road and then we're going to turn right, okay? Once we've turned, as long as it's safe to do so, I'm going to ask you to bring the car to a stop, as if in an emergency. Okay, you'll see me checking out the back window and looking ahead. Need to make sure it's going to be safe in all directions. As long as it is, I'm going to put my hand under the centre mirror and say stop. And at that point, can you bring the car to a stop as quickly as possible, please? Yeah. And then wait for my instructions before you move off. Okay. If it's not going to be safe for us to do it, I'll let you know, and I'll just ask you to carry on driving, okay? Okay. So move off when you're ready, and then at the end of the road turn right, and then we'll carry out the emergency stop if appropriate. Stop. Okay, and move off again when you're ready, please. Thank you. I won't ask you to do that again. At the end of the road, turn right. Take left of the roundabout first exit. Get up to the roundabout and take the second exit. If you have a look at the road sign there, it's one sign posted for Ring Road. Turning back into the car park now, so
Just the one we got out of.
yeah, so taking the next left. Just keep it nice and slow in first gear. Okay, and we'll get back into that area where we started.
Cool.
and then just drive forwards into any available parking space on either side. Okay, and that's it. That's the end of the test. What do you think? Would it have been a pass or a fail from your point of view?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure, okay. I'll tell you. Unfortunately, it would have been a fail. Alright, I'll explain why. Okay, you got 3 serious faults. And you got 1, 2, 3, 4 driving faults. Okay. Let's go over the driving faults first. Not necessarily in the order in which they happened, but there was one time when I asked you to pull over on the left and you could just click the curb as you came in, so that would get marked down as a steering fault. The last time, after you did the emergency stop and we came up to the end of the road and you went to pull forward and the car stalled, it was only a driving error. You hadn't entered the new road at that stage. It didn't cause anybody a problem. There was nobody behind us, so it was just a driving error. There was one time when we just came a little bit quick up to a roundabout. It was quite a small roundabout. You left it in 3rd gear and then you had quite a job steering around the roundabout. It would have just made life so much easier for yourself if you'd have just dropped it into 2nd gear and done it a little bit slower. Right? Same applies for mini roundabouts as well. There was one time when I had asked you to pull over on the left and then I asked you to pull away again, and you sat there for a fair bit with a car directly behind you, just thinking about whether you wanted to go or not. If you'd have just got your car moving, then you're no longer an obstruction to them.
They just confused me because they had like a right indicator on it. So.
Yeah, the fact that you had already been sat there with your indicator on for a moment or two, I think confused them a little bit because they were sort of expecting you to move off and then you didn't, and then they decided to stop behind you, and then they couldn't move off because there were vehicles coming the other way. But if you'd have just checked, as you eventually did, looked, popped signal and then just driven on. So ultimately you did the correct thing. You just could have done it earlier. Yeah. So when you've got cars that are stuck behind you and they can't go because of approaching vehicles coming the other way, then the sooner you get going, the sooner they can get going. Yeah? Still need to check your blind spot, put a signal on, just let everybody know. So those were the driving errors. Okay, so the serious faults. Your favourite roundabout? When we started off following the route directions for Ring Road, and then when we got up to that roundabout, I asked you to follow directions for Thirsk and Harrogate, if you remember.
Yeah.
You just straight lined it. Yeah, you should have moved over to the left, followed the curve of the roundabout, but you did, to be honest, so many people do what you did, because as we'll go and have a look at it in a moment, as you approach the roundabout and you're looking at the exit for Thirsk and Harrogate, it looks like, well, the easiest thing to do, and it is the easiest thing to do, is to take a straight line from A to B. But if you do that, as we'll look at, you're actually driving across into the lane of vehicles that might be next to you. There wasn't on that occasion, but that type of fault would get marked down as a serious fault. Okay. Yeah, because if you straight line roundabouts like that, it's only going to be a matter of time before you have an accident. Right. You parallel park, you're going to kick yourself for this one. Okay, you nearly got it, you nearly nailed it. Okay, observations were fantastic, speed was lovely. I could see you were using the camera, and you were using it pretty effectively right up until the very last moment when you just took the steering off a bit too early, and then our back wheels ended up on the driveway. Yeah. Now they've got to be on the road surface. Now, were you going to kick yourself? Because at that point, it would have only have been a driving error.
Yeah.
All right. But I said to you, "Are you finished then?"
Yeah.
If you'd have said, "Oh no, just do a little bit of readjustment,"
Okay.
and that you just pulled forward slightly, the back wheels would have come off the driveway, and you would have been absolutely fine.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you get a bit of a hint from an examiner saying, "Is that it? Are you done then?"
Yeah.
That what they're effectively telling you is, if you leave it like this, it's going to get marked down as a serious fault. So they're giving you an opportunity to rescue it. Yeah?
Okay.
So you need to take that. Also, if you'd just go into reverse for a second. Okay, turn that steering wheel full lock to the right. Okay, so we've got the white line on the camera. Okay, so I know you know this, but just to highlight it, so where we've got the sort of apex of the curve there, so just about there, that bit needs to be missing, just missing either the driveway or the curb.
I'll put it on the curb.
You got it on the curb, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you'd have kept the steering as it was, all the way, you'd have just missed the curb. Okay, but you just took the steering off a little bit early, and that then ended up on the curb. Okay, but we still had a fair bit of room to play with in front of us. So if you'd have just moved the car forward, it would have come off the curb again, and you'd have been on the road. Yeah. And then the other serious fault was a mini roundabout. After we'd followed the signs for New Earswick, and you'd gone along the road quite a bit, and we'd gone over a couple of mini roundabouts, and then we were coming up to another mini roundabout, and you asked me if we were still going straight on, and I said yes. Did you notice that as you were approaching that roundabout, there was a car coming the other way with its right signal on? So they're telling you they're preparing to turn right at that mini roundabout. So
Oh, okay.
who do you need to give priority to?
People on the right.
Yeah. Okay. So it was a close call. All right. Had they have just decided to drive on, then yeah, things could have got nasty there, and there could have been an accident. I didn't say anything. I didn't stop you because I could see that they had sort of read what you were about to do, and they decided to stop and let you go. But you really should have let them come across the front of you.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, 3 serious faults. So obviously, yeah, that would be a foul. I'm guessing you didn't see the car at the mini roundabout that I'm
No.
talking about. So I don't want to put words into your mouth, but it looked to me as we were driving around, particularly at roundabouts, you just got a little bit anxious.
Yeah, I was just panicking because I like messed up at the start there. I thought I was just like panicking for the rest of the because I thought I'd failed. So.
Right, okay. I know it's easier said than done, but don't forget, even if your test is continuing and you've convinced yourself that you failed, first of all, it might not be as serious as you thought it was. When did you think you'd failed?
I don't know. I just like I thought I'd like whipped around there really quickly and there was another car coming or something. But I just don't think. I do admit I was just getting really anxious the whole test. Because I always like making mistakes that I don't usually do. Like,
Yeah.
cut
So
control and stuff.
okay. So what I would say is take a few deep breaths as you're driving around. You know, try to settle your nerves. Ultimately, you're still in a moving car, and you've still got risk going on around you. Okay, so even if you've convinced yourself that you failed, You still want to get through the rest of the test and get back safely, and not put yourself, the examiner, or anybody else at risk. So just try to concentrate on the next bit of driving. And then if something else happens and you feel like you made a mistake, then try and put it out of your mind and concentrate on the next bit of driving. But with these roundabouts, I would just slow it down a little bit. Yeah, just come at them a little bit more cautiously and give yourself a moment to look and to think before you make that commitment to drive on. Okay? And I think that will sort it. So, how was the overall experience? I mean, obviously it's a mock test, so the fact that you got 3 serious faults, it is what it is. I'm not going to submit this to the DVSA or anything like that. So, it is just an exercise. But how did that feel for you? With me sitting here, not being my normal self, really, playing a different role, having a marking sheet in front of me, and you knowing that you've got somebody watching you and assessing what you're doing. How did that feel?
Well, I just felt like a bit under pressure, kind of, but I don't know. I just felt really under pressure, and I had no clue I was on the curb for the parallel, and I didn't see that person on the right. And what was the other fail? Like lane discipline, where I went straight across.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that now.
Yeah.
As we start to make a journey back.
Okay.
All right. So it's given us a few little things to work on. Nothing that can't be fixed.
I think I just got to slow down the speed at roundabouts, because that's where I mainly failed. Because I don't know. I feel like I'm like out on the main road. I was driving fine, and I was like listening, not listening, but like following what the gears were telling me to do and stuff. I thought it was just me to drive along like that on the roads. When it got to like roundabouts and stuff, I think you're right. I just went really quickly over loads of them. I just needed to slow down the speed.
Any situation, doesn't matter whether it's a set of traffic lights, roundabout, T-junction, crossroads, dealing with approaching vehicles when you've got obstructions on either side of the road, both sides. Any time when life gets a little bit more challenging as a driver, because you've got quite a lot to look at and think about, then just drop your speed down. Give yourself time to work it out. Yeah?
I think I nearly got a dangerous fault, on that pedestrian crossing thing. I saw him at the last second. I had to slam down on my brake. I didn't see him at all. Just popped out of my left eye out of nowhere. I think that would have got me a dangerous fault if I didn't stop.
It would have got you a serious fault.
All right,
okay, because he hadn't started to cross at that point. You did the correct thing. You stopped.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there was nobody really close behind us. Okay, so had there have been, and you slammed your brakes on like that, then there's every possibility that they could be into the back of you.
Yeah.
All right. So whenever you're approaching pedestrian crossings, you do have a good look either side, and if there are any pedestrians anywhere near, you've got to be assuming that they are possibly going to cross. So you should be slowing down and waiting for them. If you think that's going to be the case, and then don't move on again unless they either decide not to cross or they're completely off the crossing and walking away. Okay. But you did stop. It didn't cause anybody an issue. You stopped short of the crossing. You didn't end up on the crossing. So from that point of view, it was fine. Yeah. Right, let's go and have a look at that roundabout, and I'll highlight it to you where it went wrong and what you need to do instead.